Good evening, friends. My name is Harshit Dwivedi, and here I am with one more of my audio tutorial. In this audio tutorial, I will tell you about the Government of India Act of 1858. Now, from 1858, the direct rule of the British government or the direct rule of the British Crown is started in India. Before this, the functions of East India Company and the authority of East India Company was involved in the administration of this country. But from 1858, after the passage of the Government of India Act of 1858, the whole responsibility of the British possessions and territories was put directly under the control of the British Crown. Now, if we go to the basic reason of why this happened, that the rule of East India Company was finished, all the powers of the East India Company were diluted, and the whole administration of the country was put under the direct and supreme control of the British Crown. The reason was that due to the revolt of 1857, which is also famous as the First War of Independence and is also known as Sepoy Mutiny. So because of this, a whole lot of problem was there, and in order to calm down the after effects of the revolt of 1857, the British Crown passed this Government of India Act of 1858. The then Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Lord Palmerston, passed a bill in the British Parliament in order to pass this Government of India Act of 1858. So, after the bill that was introduced by the British Prime Minister got passed in the British Parliament, this Government of India Act of 1858 was implemented. Now, here I will tell to you point-wise the important features of this Government of India Act of 1858. The very first important feature of this act was that the designation of Governor General of India was changed to Viceroy of India. So now there was no such thing as Governor General of India, whereas now that designation was changed to Viceroy of India, and the Viceroy of India was the direct representative of the British Crown, which was entrusted with the task of governing India. The very first Viceroy of India was Lord Canning. The second most important feature of this act was that a new office known as the Secretary of State for India was formed. And in the Secretary of State, complete authority was vested. The complete authority included the control over Indian administration. It means that the total control of Indian administration and its supervision was vested in the Secretary of State. And the Secretary of State had direct reporting to the British Crown. And he used to work in faith of the Queen. Now, in order to help the Secretary of State in his daily work and administration of India, a 15-member Council of India was created. The main function of that council was to assist the Secretary of State. The nature of that 15-member council was advisory in nature. That means that the 15-member council was an advisory body, and the chairman of that council was the Secretary of State himself. Now the point was that indirectly, if we say, we can say that the Secretary of State was entrusted with the task that was previously allotted to the court of directors. We very well know that the court of directors was the body which contained the chief directors and the governing council of the East India Company. Now the point was that after the first war of independence of India, that is the revolt of 1857, the prevailing double government system, that means the system in which there were two main bodies. One body was the court of directors, which was the governing council of the East India Company, and the other, which was being established by the British government directly, that was known as the Board of Control. Both of these two bodies were abolished, and all the powers that were previously vested in the court of directors were now being assigned to the Secretary of State. So in 1858, all the powers of the East India Company were being taken away from it. This was the most significant feature of this act. So if we are going to write point wise, we can say that there are 6 or 7 features. I summed up all the features and characteristics of this act in only 2 points. So these were the main features of Government of India Act of 1858. In short, I will again repeat all the characteristics of this act. Through this act of Government of India Act of 1858, the designation of Governor General of India was changed to Viceroy of India. Lord Canning was the first Viceroy of India, and he was the direct representative of the British Crown in India. In this Government of India Act of 1858, the system of double government was abolished. The system of double government, that the two bodies which were entrusted with the task of governing India, which were known as the Board of Control and the Court of Directors, both of these two bodies were finished. The abolition of the double government system, that is the Board of Control and the Court of Directors system, was followed by the Secretary of State being appointed with the powers of the Court of Directors. The Secretary of State was the direct representative of the Queen, and he used to look after the authority and administration of the Indian government and was working under the control of the British Crown and the Queen. There was a 15-member Council of India whose job was to assist the Secretary of State in his day-to-day functions. The nature of this 15-member council was advisory in nature. That means that it was an advisory body. So these were the main features of the Government of India Act of 1858. The biggest thing why this Government of India Act of 1858 was most famous was that during this act, the control of the East India Company was abolished over the affairs of the administration of India. So friends, with this, we wrap up our discussion of Government of India Act of 1858. Hope you like it. In the next lecture, I will discuss Indian Council Act of 1861. Thank you.